Mm-hmm.
How do I know what I'm facing if I don't know why it's happening?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a good existential question. How do I know what I'm facing if I don't know why it's happening? And traditionally, this is what the initial question that starts one's journey in life is. And you're just looking at the palm of your hand, or the back of your hand, and you're just a few days old. And it's like, why? Ooh, what, why? And a very natural question. So you can find maybe causal links. Is this caused this and this caused this? Only to a certain degree. But those are hypotheses that the mind will make. And then you got to think, how do I know that? And so then there has to be a little bit of like, And the mind would love to grasp onto something that is a big explanation, which is probably just fantasy that someone made up, but, oh, now I know. I have this cosmic insight into what's going on. And this is what, a cult leader might want. And then you can't quite figure it out but they know, because they're blessed or something. And then trouble starts. And then you're not inquiring, not asking, not being intelligent. But just notice the fact that there's this sense of I need to know. And within relational circumstances, you want to know the best you can. Like if your body's falling apart or someone else's, I really want to know what the best thing I can do is. And how do you know these things? One through communication with others. And this is where it's nice to have broad communication with others who've perhaps been around a while, because they've had a lot, like traditions, like books, libraries, cultures. And then you also know through logic, through thinking about things, and then you know from observation of really what is immediately at hand. And the ego wants to nail it down, and sometimes you can't really get that information.
And even if
that's
you
anxiety.
get, the perfect information and it is spot on and this is the reason this is happening, still you must look at it again.
Yeah. Because
over
what's
and
the
over.
reason that is happening?
Yeah.
So if this is all some,
thing from outer space.
From outer space. So we have friends who believe that the Earth is actually flat, and so all of the stars and planets are actually somehow being choreographed by some multi-universal, not national, hoax or something. And that explains everything. I've got it. Well, what explains that? So any explanation you find, nice. What explains your explanation? And it just falls off into infinity.
And so to notice this, building urge that can come up, like why is this happening? And that part of that is fueled by why is this happening to me or to us? And there is an underlying sense in that question when you really say, because you can't say why is it happening without you being involved. There's an underlying separation, again, of you as either superior or deficient or victimized or something that can be a root for great anxiety and great anger, or the opportunity also to overlook information that might actually give you some idea of why this is happening, or something that would give you some insight into the storyline of what is currently going on. And so it's really important when you notice this kind of this the emotions rising with questions that do naturally arise, like why is this happening? To before you latch on to an idea of why this is happening, to calm the body down, calm the mind down through yoga practice and breathing, which will be a temporary solution, not a full, long time solution, but it'll get you there for a minute, and then really look again more deeply. And that becomes a process. We may know, and we may never know exactly the trajectory of what has gone on here. And there are many, many, many factors, and we need to be as grounded when we are evaluating the situation as we can, so that, again, we can be there to serve others as we need to.
Well, asking why, it's actually a healthy part of our organism, because we want to survive. And but don't stop, when someone comes along with a convenient answer that almost promises the ego superiority and permanence. Keep looking.
And it's hard to cultivate this during difficult times too, but one of the reasons we get charged by that question is a sense of lack of trust, which at this moment in time, what does that mean? Trust who? What are you talking about? But trust in the fact that there is a process happening, and there are millions of people who are deeply concerned. And if we can communicate openly and work together rather than separately, we will get through this in the best way possible, because it will be a communal effort rather than a fragmented effort.
Yeah, a lot of conspiracy theories play to our pre-existing prejudices, our pre-existing sense of nation or race or culture, insecurity, knowing that those are deeply knowing that they're very relative, but fear, and then something that then plays to them, then we can clasp onto it and grasp it. And then perhaps more damage is done